Shalom, this is Levi Shore. Welcome back to Sweet and Good Torah. Today we're going to continue on the 13 principles of the Rambam, and today we're learning the sixth principle. And the sixth principle is Ani ma'amin be'amunah shlema, that I know with perfect knowledge, shekol divrei Nevi'im emes, that the words of the Nevi'im, the prophets, are true. So as we've done before, we're going to look into the song, the Yigdal, and the Yigdal contains a little additional information to help us learn about the Shlosha Asar Ikarim, the 13 principles. And the Yigdal says that Shefa Nevuaso Nisano, that the divine flow, the spiritual flow of his prophecy that he gave, El Anshe Segulaso, the Sif Arto, that he gave it to people of his choosing, or his treasured people, and of his beauty, of his splendor. So Nevuah, prophecy, and the Nevi'im, the prophets, is a very complex subject. So we're going to do a little bit of an overview, and B'ezrat Hashem, I hope to do many more different shiurim on Nevuah, on prophecy and the prophets themselves. So when did the actual prophecy, the age of prophecy, end? So the last three prophets were Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi. And the Gemara says, in one opinion, or there's some opinions, that Malachi was Ezra. So Ezra was Nifter. Ezra passed away on the 9th of Tevis in the Hebrew year 3448. And it's interesting because that's 1,000 years after 2448, which is when the Jewish people came out of Mitzrayim, came out of Egypt. So we're currently in the year 5777. So this would be 2,329 years since there was prophecy. So, like, really experiencing prophecy or knowing, or knowing anything, having any kind of personal experience of a Navi, a prophet, is pretty distant to us. So let's try to learn a little more about, like, what actually is Nevuah, what is prophecy, and who are these Nevi'im. And then our tradition, our Masorah, is that during the coming of Mashiach, that this is going to return, that Nevuah is going to be restored to the world, and people will be able to reach this level of connection with Hashem. So Nevuah, prophecy, is the deepest connection that people can have with Hashem. So for ourselves right now, the level we're at, like or for most people, the best way to connect is through learning Torah and through doing mitzvos. And these help to start to make us into better people, and it starts to put some of these good midos, it starts to lead us in the path of acquiring these good character traits and these good qualities. So there's three different levels. There's the level of dreams, and then the Gemara says in the level of dreams there's 6 different levels of dreams. So I would say most people, when we dream at night, we're probably on that lowest level of dreaming right now. And then I think, like, people that maybe have had some kind of dream, and that dream maybe, like, comes true, maybe that's a slightly higher level. I don't know if that's necessarily had to be at that 6th highest level, but definitely probably a little higher than, the average person's dreaming. And we'll try to talk about a little dreaming and what it is and what all this stuff is. And so the next level is something called Ruach HaKodesh, which you would translate as, maybe like a holy spiritual inspiration. And we're going to talk about a little bit of, like, how a person can work on acquiring this level of connection with Hashem, and that's very difficult. And then even higher than that, if a person acquires that level of Ruach HaKodesh, person can go even beyond that into the qualities of a Navi. Even though right now that spiritual ability is not open, the ability to attain Ruach HaKodesh is open, but we're going to see that it's very hard to do, and a person has to really work extremely hard to develop himself, develop his midos, develop his characteristics, and to refine himself into a person that can have this deeper connection with Hashem. So the Ramchal, Rabbi Moshe Chaim Lozado, he wrote a book called Mesilas Yesharim, The Path of the Upright, The Path of the Just, and he described these levels of how someone would attain Ruach HaKodesh. And we see it in, I believe it's the last Baraisa in Masechta Sota, and I think it was Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair who described these levels. It's interesting that I think he didn't have the first level in there maybe, and the Ramchal added this level, but let's go through it real briefly. So the first level is Zechirus, and even this first level is very tricky. I mean, a person has to work very hard to achieve this level, but Zechirus is being careful, and a person, whatever a person says or whatever a person does, you have to think, like, is this good? Like, is this a good thing I'm saying? Is this something that, like, Hashem would want me to say? Is this something that Hashem would want me to do? And one of the best ways of acquiring this is just learning the Torah, following the mitzvos, and this starts to guide you on the derech Hashem. This starts to guide you on that path to acquiring Zechirus. But even just learning Torah, even following the mitzvahs, I mean, you can see it's an intense amount of effort. Everything, controlling everything you say, wow, and everything you do. That is this for the good? What I'm saying, what I'm doing, is this connecting me to Hashem? Is this bringing other people close to Hashem? And that is just that first step is very, very high spiritual plateau. So the next level is the Rizus, and this is just having like a great energy and enthusiasm for learning Torah, for doing the mitzvahs, just an energy for doing spiritual pursuits, the mitzvahs, and just an energy and enthusiasm for doing good things. So the next level is Nikius, like cleanliness, and it's like going back on Zechirus and just further like clarifying and purify. Like, even if it was a good thing to say, like, are you having a sensitivity that is everyone? Is that going to be a good thing to say for everyone, or do you have to even clarify your words even more to make sure that everyone could receive good out of what you just said? Then Parishus is a level of like separating yourself even from some things that are separating yourselves even from something that's permitted. So, for instance, like, give like a small example, like the Torah teaches us the halachas of what food is kosher. So a Parishus would then say, okay, well, I'm permitted to eat kosher food, but maybe like I want to even work on just limiting my intake of that kosher food, so I'm only just eating what I need, to live, and not going, any further. So you see, like, the world we live in, these are, this is not what the average person's doing. I mean, this is basically separating yourself more and more from the physical world, just engaging in spiritual pursuits. And it's really going against like what most people in the world are going to be doing at all times. And this is probably for all the different generations, all the ages. So a Navi, or someone trying to attain Ruach HaKodesh, is really like leading like a pure and pure spiritual life. And it's really going against like what most people are doing. Like even people that are learning Torah, following the mitzvahs, but you're working, living a normal, average life, it's even removing from some of that. I mean, obviously, it's like removing yourself from this mass popular culture of movies and sports and all all that for sure. But even like maybe not only removing from social media, but like even removing from just normal people, just would even just be gossiping and talking about the news. So just even removing yourself from that. So it's pretty challenging. You see like how elevated and refined these people were that achieved a level of prophecy, that achieved Nevuah. So the next level is Tahara. It's there's a lot of halachas of Tuma and Tahara, of just there's vast amounts of laws of the spiritual science of what's happening, removing yourself from anything that would not bring you into the state of Tahara. And then Chasidus is fascinating. I mean, it's a word, a chassid. I mean, people are familiar sometimes with the word tzaddik, a righteous person, a chassid. And Chasidus, I think it was a movement that was trying to to capture on this level of going even beyond. Like, let's give an example. Like, okay, it's a mitzvah to give 10% to Meiser, 10% of all your income, and give that to tzedakah, to give that to people in need. So like a chassid would, go even beyond that. Like maybe he would be someone that would give like 15% of everything, or 20%. So someone that's even going beyond what the mitzvah says to do, that's a chassid. Someone that loves the mitzvah so much, loves the Torah so much, he's going beyond. He or she is going beyond. What the levels. I don't know if I was clear before, but right, there was men and there was women, that were navis and nevias. The next level is a nava, humility, and this is also, I think it's very it's been like miscommunicated, and we see so many people in the world that are a true anav, a true humble person. And the most famous in the Torah was Moshe Rabbeinu, was Moses, who was considered the most humble person. So it's not like someone that's just like it's not someone like a doormat. It's not someone that's is just stepping all over. I mean, it's someone that's very proud and knows who they are. But this high level is very difficult. It's someone that, like, if someone were to praise you, if someone compliments you, you don't care. And if someone insults you, you don't care. And to reach that level of this pure tranquility of, like, you just know your role, you see yourself compared to Hashem, you see yourself compared to this infinite, perfect being, and you're flawed, and you have your qualities, and you have your chesronos, you have your deficiencies. Every person has their milos, their chesronos. We have, everyone has special abilities, and everyone has like deficiencies in certain areas, and that's what life is all about. Is really like improving, where we're lacking, and using the skills we have to try to become better. And then anav is just really just mastered this on this spiritual level, and just has where we see that image of that person that has that true inner peace. I think that would be the level of a nava. And then you go beyond that to a level of a yiras chet, someone that the idea of transgressing the Torah is so scary, so foreign to them. They tremble at just the idea of the slice of error, the slightest transgressing the Torah. And it's someone that's almost completely eradicated, or someone that doesn't listen to their Yetzer Hara at all. So just quickly, the Yetzer Hara, the Yetzer Tov, people are created with these two desires. So there's a Yetzer Hara, which some of the ideas that we have in our head are not our own. They're trying to tempt us to do averas, to do something, transgressing the Torah. And then we have a Yetzer Tov, which we try to develop. We have those good desires where we try to make our desires, we try to make what we want, more spiritual pursuits. Like we want to desire learning Torah and doing mitzvahs, just like someone desires, to go to a ball game, or to go to a rock concert or something like that, or go to the new blockbuster movie. Like people really have a desire to do those things, or a desire for food, and we try to take those physical desires and turn them into spiritual desires. And then when a person gets all the way up to these levels, they reach a level of kedusha, of holiness, where they're completely separated from the physical world. They're only following the Yetzer Tov. They're only following the Torah and the mitzvos. And at that level, a person, is fit, to receive this Ruach HaKodesh, this holy spiritual flow from Hashem. And then even beyond that is where a person can reach. So if a person even refines above that, they can reach the state of being a Navi, and have Nevuah, receive these prophecies from Hashem. But this hasn't, as we said before, this hasn't come back yet. So the highest a person can reach right now is Ruach HaKodesh. We'll see how difficult that is. But we have the writings of the Nevi'im and the Torah, and they give us a clear spiritual understanding of how to view the world and of future events that are coming. So, Bezrat Hashem, we'll all start to work on, reaching these great spiritual levels of Ruach HaKodesh, and we'll talk more about Nevi'im and Nevuah in the future. Thank you all for watching. Sweet good.